Good morning. It's a good day today. Hi, I'm Riddle. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a subscriber. I really appreciate it. Interesting, fun video today. I wish I could slow these things down and be a true capitalist to get all that ad money, but you know how I am. Get it done, get it done. Got too much to do to mess around on the internet all day. And I hope you appreciate that. So I was on Amazon yesterday and I was looking for chicken feed supplements, see if I could beat the cost of the chicken feed from Costco. You know, just doing research. I'm always doing research. This is how you figure stuff out and save money. And I'm all about saving. I'm all about not wasting. I'm obsessive about not wasting anything. And though this consumes a lot of my time, it also really increases our quality of life. So that being said, I came across this stuff on Amazon, and I after I read it, well, first I was shocked by their price because they wanted almost $30 for it, and it wasn't a large amount. And then it's like kind of bedding material for chickens that you put in the nesting boxes, and it helps keep away flies and parasites and insects. And you just kind of mix it into their nesting box. And I thought, well, yeah, flies are always a big problem with chickens, especially when the heat goes up and you just can't keep a pen clean enough to keep the flies away. So I looked at the ingredients, and they're like rose petals, mint. Oh my God, mint. I regret planting mint, as you all know. Any experienced gardener knows. And a list of other common herbs that they just dry and make this potpourri with, and then charge a lot of money for these boutique chicken owners to buy and lovingly mix into their chicken boxes. Now, there is a huge population of chicken enthusiasts out there now, as laws have changed about keeping chickens in the city. And I know one woman who actually gets rescue chickens, and she doesn't want them for eggs. She doesn't want them for anything. She just loves them until they die. And they live a long time. And she takes them to the vet and has complicated surgeries done on them. And, you know, bless her heart. I don't have that goal, but that amount of compassion, I don't think we have enough of in the world. So I want to applaud people who do. So let's get to making our nesting box anti-worm, anti-parasite, good smelling stuff. And what I love about this is, you know, by the second year, your herb garden, if you're doing it right, is taking over. Like, you can't keep up with everything that needs to be cut, everything that, you know, you just can't keep up with it unless you have employees or a large family. And that's why farmers had large families. It was for labor. Unfortunately, I don't have that. I have me and a cat and chickens. So let's get to the fun. So in my mind, I thought, how am I going to do this on a larger scale so I can do it one time and not have to do it for a while? So the idea of like hanging them or to dry the herbs or something like that didn't seem realistic for what I'm using it for, being that I'm not going to be consuming it or using it to make any food products or giving it away as gifts. So I'm going to use a tarp. And I did put the tarp in a semi-shaded area so the sun doesn't completely bleach out the essence of what we're going to make our nesting box, fancy nesting box material from. Okay, we're going to start with these roses. They're almost done. And they're just laying here on the ground due to neglect. So let's start with some rose petals, which is actually in the formula, believe it or not. Yippee. So I'm going to pull this pull card again, trying to save energy, time and energy, because that's when you have a farm or a mini farm, That's one thing you never have a lot of. Oh, I hear the garbage man. Don't you love when you get the garbage out on time? I mean, we all have the best intentions, but the days that you actually nail it, yep. I even got all the recycling out, all packed pretty, because my garbage man leaves nasty little notes for me if I don't do it just right. And if you saw how much they charged us for the tiniest garbage can, you would want to tell them to shut the F up. But the world's nuts. You know, I'm gonna push my cart underneath here and try to cut this and just let the roses drop down into the cart. Again, save money, save time. La 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 la. La 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 la. Okay. We will come back to the roses, but we're going to go on to our next thing. I bet geranium would be good. You never see flies on geranium, and they stink really bad. So let's throw geranium in there. That's a great thing to do with the dead-headed geranium flowers. You know, a lot of people don't know different forms of geranium, especially like the rose geranium and the fancy smelling types of geranium, were used for hundreds and thousands of years in different liqueurs and medicines and what have you. This is a fact. Moving down the line. Oh yeah, these girls aren't gonna last the day. I'm gonna throw those in there. Ooh, did you hear my old man grunt? That's when you know you're getting old. The grunt. Remember when you used to see your dad or your mom or uncle or a grandparent and they'd make that sound when they moved a certain way and you're like, ooh, and now you're them. Or you're going to be them soon. Welcome to the club. Oh, there's a nice one. Nice, nice, nice. When I deadhead my roses, I have a lot of them in barrels, and they dry out pretty quickly in the summertime. So what I do is I do a chop and drop and put the extra stems and things, and sometimes the petals back into the pot around the edge. See, she's not going to last the day. She's just taking energy from our pot. Wow, look at this fancy chickens. They got a better life than most Americans do. All right, now look at the problem here. Do you see this? Now tell me what this is. Mint. And the mint actually, I didn't plant this. This was here, and it actually squeezes up somehow through the pots and tries to take over and strangle out the roses. How long those roots are. But the mint, I guess, is really excellent for the chickens, and the flies and other bugs hate the smell of it. And we're just going to pull out fistfuls of it, because I have constantly pulled out fistfuls of it, and it just keeps on a-coming. Okay. So I don't know about you, but how many times a week do you lose your shears or your cutters? Between myself and my spouse, these shears practically exist in a parallel universe. they sometimes disappear for weeks and months at a time, and then reappear in the strangest places. Another hallmark of multitasking or old age, whichever brings you comfort, you choose. Okay, got our mint, you get the idea. Rip it out, and instead of throwing it away, we're gonna use it. Moving along. Oh, look at this. Citronella. Citronella is awesome. It just, I'm gonna cut this down into bigger, smaller pieces later, so you don't have to watch me do that, but definitely needs cut back. Citronella is great because it is really, really, really forgiving, very drought resistant. I'm not sure where it comes from, but I'm guessing because of the way it is so drought resistant that it must be from somewhere in the Middle East or Africa. Maybe India? I'll have to check the facts on that one. If you know where citronella originated from, feel free to drop it in the comment box, because I love to constantly be educated. Okay, got a nice bunch of citronella. We'll come back for more later. Moving down the road. Oh, whoa, I've been dying to deadhead this. Now, if I had two free hands, I would use my shears on this, but see all the dead flowers? This is a Spanish lavender, and it needs desperately to be cut back. So let's just say I'm gonna bring my big shears and go chop, 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 and have huge piles of this, because this will make insane chicken bedding. Wonderful, wonderful, and it'll smell great in there. I'm not going to do this right now, but I'm just showing you another material that you can use to make your coop smell better and keep the bugs away and keep the gals happy. There's a bunch of roses I will cut and throw in there. More geraniums. Finally, we got some heat here. Look at this. So, I went from having 2 days ago not one zucchini to now they're coming out of my eyeballs. So the lucky recipients of that are everybody who doesn't help me with my garden. Okay, we're coming around the herb garden now. Yeah, they said sage, of course. A lot of people don't know some of the most common herbs. They always go to these exotic resources for healing. And when they design these carts, it's a great cart, but they really need to put a brake on the damn thing. Just one wheel. It's something really missing from this cart. Going back to the herbs, I'm deadheading the ones that are flowering, because you don't want them to flower and seed. We're going to do variegated sage. So what people don't realize is that common culinary herbs have been used for thousands of years to heal us. Before there was medicine, they used thyme and sage and all the basic herbs. Garlic and onions were considered medicinal. And now we always go to these exotic things online and pay way too much and buy it in a capsule. But if you do your research about the antibacterial properties and the healing properties of especially sage, your mind will be blown, and it will really motivate you to love your sage and grow more sage. I'm thinking some fennel would be awesome in here. What do you think? Yeah, fennel smells so good. Chickens love eating fennel, by the way. So every day, once or twice a day, my chickens get the all-you-can-eat salad bar, I call it. And all I do is I walk around the property pulling out grasses and weeds, yellow leaves from the plants, and different herbs. And when I got a big bunch of them, I just run out to the chicken coop and I toss them into the coop, and the ladies go nuts for them. Can you imagine all of the medicine and all of the vitamins and minerals they're getting from those herbs versus just some dry chicken feed? that you don't know who made it, how they made it, and even though they put organic on the side of the bag, does that really mean anything? I harvested my chamomile yesterday, so I think I'm going to leave this chamomile alone. But let's grab this janky cart. Ooh, this really needs to be cut back. We're going to cut back our thyme. I know that is a really good herb to deter bugs and stuff. Throw some thyme. Lemon balm. Look at this, needs cut back desperately. And I know for sure the flies really dislike, and parasites and what have you. And did you know that lemon balm, which this started with one little sprig, and this is 2 years later, lemon balm is listed as one of the top 7 herbs to help with memory and cognitive functions? All you have to do is make yourself a nice fresh cup of tea every day, and it will help to keep your brain right if you're doing everything else right. You know, that's the thing about natural medicine. So most Western medicine is designed as a Band-Aid. It focuses on the symptoms, but often does not heal. That's the capitalism behind Western medicine, that there's no healing. There's just this dependency on the drug. Not all, but the majority, you know what I'm talking about. But with natural medicine, the focus is on building the body and making it stronger and healing it, so you don't need that toxic chemical tearing up your internal organs and you becoming dependent on it. But the thing people don't understand about natural medicine is, if you're still taking in the poison every day that may have gotten you to that place of dis-ease, meaning diabetes or something like this, there's no amount of natural medicine that can help you. So you have to be really self-aware, and you have to be ready to have the discipline to stop drinking the sodas or smoking or eating, overly processed food, fast foods, whatever it takes, because you can't be taking the poison and the cure at the same time and expect some kind of miracle from the baby Jesus. Okay, moving on to mugwort. Everyone should have this in their garden. It's the Chinese believe it's a cure-all, and we drink it in a tea form quite often. You do have to be careful, though. It's a very strong herb, and it can be hard on the kidneys. So if you have any kidney issues, you probably want to stay away from the mugwort. I don't know if comfrey would be good or not. I do have this, though. This is got my netting on here to protect my strawberries. Man, it's been a great strawberry year, I tell you. That's one thing the cooler temperatures gave us. So this is a Mexican oregano, so it's really spicy and peppery. I don't really like the flavor, to be honest with you, but it was kind of a novelty at the time, and I'm like, I get it. As you can tell from my other list of all the different fruits and berries and herbs I have on the property, once I get into something, I kind of get obsessed with getting stuff that nobody else has, or getting every kind of it. It's one of my personality things. Okay, going down the road. Oh, there's a lot more. All this has to be cut back. Oregano. Oh, rosemary. Yeah, we all know rosemary's great. So what I'm showing you is, so I've already collected a ton of herbs this season and met my culinary storage needs. And this is all just extra right now. And it's going to make for some fantastic anti-odor, anti-parasite, anti-fly chicken bedding. And I know you're thinking, what? But what's going to happen to this if I don't use it for this is I'm just going to be cutting it up, and I can only give so much away. I can only store so much, because I don't want to be like McCormick and have herbs that are 2 or 3 years old, dried, and have no nutritional value anymore. That's another thing, people don't realize. I took a wild medicine making class at the local college, Cabrillo College, and it was explained to us that if you don't preserve your herbs or mushrooms or whatever you're trying to preserve when you're making wild medicine in something like an alcohol or a ghee or what have you, the herbs, dried herbs or dried anything, has a 3 to 6 month period that it has its full benefits. All the chemicals that are thriving still in it are abundant, but then after about 6 months it starts to degrade, of course. So you kind of notice that with herbs and the flavor when you buy them, which is kind of shocking because of how much we pay for them. But at the same time, it's also not just the flavor, it's the actual beneficiary chemicals in the herbs that degrade. So that's the thing that sucks, how much we pay for herbs at the store, and you might be getting something that's so old that it not only does it have so-so flavor, but it also is kind of worthless in that where you would get the health benefits from it. So here's the thing. I have never considered myself poor, even when I was poor, because I always look at life as a game. Everything's about problem solving. This is what kept our ancestors' brains growing, is problem solving. And they've actually showed that human intelligence is lowering because we don't have to problem solve as much anymore, because everything is handed to us in a shiny recording device. So that being said, my whole life has been about figuring stuff out so I could have the best of everything and not have that poverty mentality. And so what would I do if I couldn't grow my own herbs? Well, first I would try to grow my own herbs in a pot. Many times I had rented, little apartments here or there, and I still had a small garden growing out of pots. Second alternative is to look at someone else's yard who has the potential to grow herbs. And if they're not already growing something, offer them to buy the herbs and start a garden on their land and share it with them. That's a real easy way to also bond with people and have that great communal experience that we're really missing a lot now. Pineapple sage. Yeah. So this is another kind of herb I regret buying. It smells great, this pineapple sage, but you can see how giant it's getting. And it does bloom a really, really pretty red flower. But it smells, yes, like pineapple, but it tastes like garbage. So I don't really understand what you're supposed to use it for, except for maybe it throws the scent of something. I'm working on a complex, my own version of chartreuse right now. And chartreuse is a liqueur that was originally made for about, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years by the monks somewhere in France. And it is legendary as a liqueur. And of course, it's called chartreuse because it's green, the color chartreuse. And they claim the formula is completely a complete secret, and only handful of people, the monks, know it. And it has over 130 ingredients, the original formula did. Now, I can tell you from doing infusions and my experience with herbs and what have you, that there's no way they could put 130 different materials in that and it to be that lovely bright green color. So I'm calling BS on that. But I don't need lovely green color, because the thing is that they're going to stop making it. So now the price is going through the roof and people are freaking out. And I know this is very first world problems, but that's okay. I'm allowed to have first world problems. I'm making my own chartreuse. I'm working on it. So we're going to see. It's going to be my version of it though. So it's going to be a very original original version, it's going to have all of the usual stuff. And I'm going to be really lucky if I can get up to even 100 different herbs, spices, cherry pits, you name it. It's got everything but the kitchen sink in it. And it's probably going to be the color of death. So the basil, I'm not going to put the basil in here because I don't have a lot this year. I think that's good. What do you think? Pretty amazing? A lot of good stuff. Look at the daisies. They're going crazy. Got to cut those back. So now what I would do is I'm just going to spread them out on my tarp. Maybe that'll be my cover photo for the video. I always try to pick that, of course, it's marketing, that seductive cover photo. Of course, the more you can spread them out, the quicker they're going to dry. And I only have one hand. I need to buy one of those camera holders, but I would cut these down a lot more. The thing is, the stems of some of these, when they dry, can be really, really sharp, and I don't want the little birds to stab themselves and be bleeding. That'll be no good. So I will come back in here later and get rid of some of my thicker stems. Even the stems on the mint can be really, really sharp. I'm definitely going to add more of the Spanish lavender to this because that's going to be amazing. Okay, that's pretty good. So today it's going to get about 90 or so. And these should probably dry up pretty well in 4 to 5 days. And then I'm going to have a great start on my herbal nesting box material. Okay, well, if you stuck it out with me this long, wow, I almost hit 30 minutes. This will probably be one of my first videos that are 30 minutes long. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, it helps, and share with your friends. And I will see you soon with my next nutty project. Bye.